All right, guys, moving on to our second email question of the day. And our second email question of the day comes from Jay, just simply Jay, who lives here in New York City. He says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Brown." Well, good afternoon to you, sir. Or madam, I don't know. Didn't give me your name. It was just Jay. Good afternoon to you, fellow human being. And Jay says, "So I saw last night that you were doing a review of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark on the show today." That is correct. I started advertising last night. And I was wondering if you think there might be a sequel. I really liked the film, and considering where the film ended, it definitely opens itself up for a sequel. Any thoughts? Yes. And that's very interesting that you would say that. Because I too this morning was looking over, after I watched the movie, I started thinking to myself, this was good. And again, no spoilers. It's a fantastic movie. I really enjoyed it. If you haven't seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, yeah, I had a similar thought when it ended. It does open itself up for a sequel at the end. I don't want to reveal too much of anything, and I'm not. Don't worry, I'm not. I'm just looking for where's this web browser? Where you guys? Oh, my life is a mess today. My apologies. All right, here we go. So here we go. I had to look up this article. It was in Variety, and this comes from back in April 23rd. Of this year is when this article was written. Andre Ovredal is the director's name. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark 2 is in the works with the same director. I think this is great news. I think this is fantastic news. The article says the original director, Andre Ovredal, and Guillermo del Toro, who was one of the co-producers on the film. I don't think he was a co-director. He was just a co-producer. And the writers, both brothers, Dan and Kevin Hageman? They're all returning for the sequel. This is music to my ears. I love this so much. The article says Paramount Pictures and Entertainment 1 will co-finance Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark 2. Hive Mind's Jason Brown and Sean Daniel are producing. I'm not familiar with their production company. I'm not familiar with those two individuals or gentlemen. I only assume that they worked on the first one. The second installment will be based on a story by Del Toro. This makes me very intrigued. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was produced by CBS Films and E1 Entertainment, which also financed the film. Here's the interesting thing. The movie grossed $105 million at the worldwide box office. I think that is incredible. $105 million. And I had to look up the budget, how much money they spent on this film. Here's how much they spent on the film. Around $28 million is what Google is telling us. So we're just going to say $28 million. So let's double that. That's what, 56. $56 million to make the movie, to advertise the movie, and then do another 1.5 on top of that. And math skills are evading me. So let's see, 56 times 1.5, $84 million. So this movie needed to make $84 million to break even, and it made 105. So that leaves it with a profit of $21 million. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, considering all of all the stuff, all the hurdles that it had to overcome, the ideas about this film, what people's expectations were going to be going in. This movie performed very, very well, and I'm very excited to see that they are going to be doing a sequel. We don't know when it's coming out. We just found out in April, which actually I think is kind of interesting. This news dropped in April, in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, which means if they dropped the news during the pandemic, they are confident in this film. If this was the kind of project that was going to be a little wavering, if they were a little unsure, they would not have dropped this news in the midst of the pandemic. And also, April was when it was worst in the United States. April was the absolute worst part of the pandemic in the United States. So they dropped this news at the worst time to have hope, because all of our other movies are getting pushed back. Everything's being delayed. Nothing's coming out. Movie theaters are being shut down. And then they drop this news bomb. Hey, if you liked this movie, we're going to give you more. We thought it was pretty good. We made money off of it. We feel confident that we can do it again. And it's also interesting to me that the story for Scary Stories 2 is going to be penned by Guillermo del Toro. In fact, this guy right here. There he is, little Guillermo del Toro. And he's holding, I don't know if you can see, he's holding a little book with a skull on it. That makes me very happy. So Guillermo del Toro is penning the script for Scary Stories 2. An original idea. Not that the first movie wasn't original. It definitely was, but it also like wove all of the other stories in. I liked the direction style from Andre Overdahl. I think it was done really, really well. I really liked it, and I'm really excited for Scary Stories 2. Question is, what do you guys think about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark 2? Do you have a differing opinion? Are you also excited to see it? Jump down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, that does it.